Hey everyone, this is my studying stream. Today I'm going to take a studying stream on LSAT, but before I decided to show you how I practice English pronunciation, since it's also a part of my daily routine. I don't do it on a daily basis. Sometimes I miss 1 or 2 days, but I'm trying to be consistent and do certain exercises. So one of these exercises is, I'm just going to show you the screen, is listening to audiobooks or some speakers and copying their pronunciation. So and there are some, now from yesterday, I'm working on this particular piece of text. So this is a book by Carlos Castaneda, The Power of Silence, and I really like the voice this book has been recorded. It was uploaded quite recently on July 6th, just a few months ago. And so there are many amazing moments which I admire and enjoy. So this is one of them. And what I'm doing, I'm just listening and then trying to copy, trying to repeat. So I'm just going to show you how I do that.
If you judge me by my actions with you.
If you judge me by my actions with you, he said, you have to admit that I've been a paragon of patience and consistency. But what you don't know is that to accomplish this, I've had to fight for impeccability, as I have never fought before. In order to spend time with you, I have had to transform myself daily. Restraining myself with the most excruciating effort. Don Juan had been right. I didn't like what he said.
I tried not to lose face and made a sarcastic comeback.
I tried not to lose face and made a sarcastic comeback.
I'm not that bad, Don Juan.
I'm not that bad, Don Juan. I said. My voice sounded surprisingly unnatural to me. Oh, yes. You are that bad, he said with a serious expression.
You are petty, wasteful, opinionated.
You are petty, wasteful, opinionated.
Coercive, short-tempered, conceited.
Coercive, short-tempered, conceited.
You are morose, ponderous, and ungrateful.
You're morose, ponderous, and ungrateful.
You have an inexhaustible capacity for self-indulgence.
You have inexhaustible capacity for self-indulgence.
And worst of all, you have an exalted idea of yourself.
And worst of all, you have an exalted idea of yourself with nothing whatever to back it up.
Nothing whatever to back it up. I
could sincerely say that your mere presence makes me like vomiting.
That your mere presence makes me feel like vomiting.
Makes me feel like vomiting. So this, like one piece, it's 1 minute. So I try to, repeat as not as clearly as possible, but at least repeat a couple of times, and then I go back and repeat it once again.
I didn't. in order to spend time with you, I have.
So now, like the second time, yeah, I think I'll try to follow the voice. So I would not stop it. I will just repeat after the speaker.
Never fought before. In order to fight,
But what you don't know, that to accomplish this, I have had to fight for impeccability, as I have never fought before. In order to spend time with you, I have had to transform myself daily, restraining myself with the most excruciating effort. Don Juan had been right. I didn't like what he said. I tried to not to lose face and made a sarcastic comeback. I'm not that bad, Don Juan, I said. My voice sounded surprisingly unnatural to me. Oh, yes, you are that bad, he said with a serious expression. You are petty, wasteful, opinionated, coercive, short-tempered, conceited. You are morose, ponderous, and ungrateful. Your inexhaustible capacity for self-indulgence, and worst of all, you have an exalted idea of yourself with nothing whatever to back it up. I could sincerely say that your mere presence makes me feel like vomiting. All right, so this is the exercise, and basically, I'm not gonna, go on, but it takes maybe 3, 4, 5 repetitions, and after that, I'm trying to, say it without the, without the video, without listening to it. Just basically, right? I've already wrote it down, and I'm trying to, copy the rhythm, the manner of speech, the voice, and this is one of the exercises which I'm trying to do regularly to improve my pronunciation. Anyway, now let's go to the Khan Academy, and today I'm gonna work on reading comprehension. So science passages, importance high. Solve questions based on what is directly supported by or can be inferred from information presented in the passage. So this is the task. There are 6 questions. 3 of them have to be answered correctly. 9 minutes. I have 9 minutes. Let's see how I'll do that. So this is the paragraph. I have to understand the Okapi, a forest mammal of Central Africa, has presented zoologists with a number of difficult questions since they first learned of its existence in 1900s. The first was how to classify it, because it was horse-like in dimension and bore patches of striped hide similar to a zebra's, a relative of the horse. Zoologists first classify it as a member of a horse family. So classification, yeah, the first classified. I just want to stress it. But further studies showed that despite okapis' coloration and short necks, their closest relatives were giraffes. The okapis' rightful place within the giraffe family is confirmed by its skin-covered horns in males, 2 lobed canine teeth, and long prehensile tongue. Okay, giraffe, closest relative to giraffe. Similar to zebras. Horse-like in dimension. Okay. Similar to the... Okay. Let's go. The next question was the first, right? The first. The next question was the size of the Okapi population. because okapis were infrequently captured by hunters, some zoologists believed that they were rare. However, others theorized that their habits simply kept them out of sight. It was not until 1985 when zoologists started tracking okapis by affixing collars equipped with radio transmitters to briefly captured specimens. That reliable information about okapi numbers and habits began to be collected. It turns out that while okapis are not as rare as some zoologists suspected, their population is concentrated in an extremely limited chain of forest land in northeastern Central Africa surrounded by savanna. Turns out not as rare. Population is concentrated. Okay. Next question, the size of okapis population. All right. One reason for their seeming scarcity is that their coloration allows okapis to camouflage themselves even at close range. Another is that okapis do not travel in groups or with other large forest mammals, and neither frequent open riverbanks nor forage at the borders of clearings, choosing instead to keep to the forest interior. This is because okapis, unlike any other animal in the Central African forest, subsist entirely on leaves. Subsist entirely on leaves. More than 100 species of plants have been identified as part of their diet, and about 20 of these are preferred. 20 of these are preferred. Okapis never eat one plant to the exclusion of others, even where preferred foliage is abundant. Okapis will leave much of it uneaten, choosing to move on and sample other leaves. Because of this, and because of the distribution of their food, okapis engage in individual rather than congregated foraging. Okay, engage in individual rather than congregated foraging. Why? Because subsist entirely on leaves and never eat one plant to the excursion of others. Okay, but other questions about okapi behavior arise. So other question, why, for example, do they prefer to remain within forested areas when many of their favorite plants are found in the open border between forest and savanna? One possibility is that this is a defense against predators. Okay. Another is that okapi was pushed into the forest by competition with other large hoofed animals, such as bushbuck and bongo, that specialize on the forest edges and graze them more efficiently. Another question is, okay, one question. Why do they prefer remain within forest areas? Another question is why okapis are absent from other nearby forest regions that would seem hospitable to them. Okay. Why okapis are absent from other nearby forest regions that would seem hospitable to them. Zoologists theorize that okapis are relicts of an era when forest land was scarce and that they continued to respect those borders even though available for forest land has long since expanded. All right, now let's what's the main idea of this question, of this paragraph, of this passage? So there's a mammal, a capia, and there are some questions about their life. So one question is the size of its population. It seems to be small, but actually it's not as rare because their population is not concentrated. It's basically spread around the forest and they don't live in big social groups. Another question is the first one, relatives, like who they are like they're like horses or they're like giraffes. And so these questions are, well, there's some fears about these questions, and there are some questions which are not answered, but again, there's also fears about them. So why do they prefer remain within forested areas? And another, why they absent from other nearby forest regions. Okay, let's see the questions. Which of the following most completely and accurately expresses the main idea of the passage? Information gathered by means of radio tracking collars has finally provided answers to the questions about the okapis that zoologists have been attempting to answer since the first learn of the mammals exist. No, they didn't actually. They didn't didn't provide answers to the questions. It's still fears. Because of their physical characteristics and their infrequent capture by hunters, okapi present zoologists with many difficult questions at the start of 20th century. Well, it may be the case, but I guess it's too narrow. But let's see other options. Research concerning okapis has answered some of the questions that have puzzled zoologists since their discovery, but has also raised other questions regarding their geographic concentration and feeding habits. It also may, but again, it doesn't seem too narrow. A new way of tracking okapis using radio tracking, it's not the case. Despite new research involving radio tracking, the questions that have puzzled zoologists about okapis since their discovery at the start of the 20th century remain mostly unanswered. Well, yeah, now I have to choose between these three because of their physical characteristic and their infrequent capture by hunters. Okapis presented zoologists with many difficult questions at the start. Well, it's not that there are some answers. It's not only about questions, right? So research concerning okapis has answered some of the questions that have puzzled zoologists since their discovery, but has also raised other questions regarding their geographic concentration and feeding habits. So another question, why they prefer to be in for like feeding habit, it's concentration. Again, it's concentration, and feeding habits is here. Despite the new research involving radio tracking. Radio tracking, I guess it's not okay. I prefer to choose C. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, it's right. Okay. Next question. The function of the third paragraph is to pose a question about okapis behavior. 1, 2, 3. This one. One reason for their seeming scarcity is that coloration. Yeah, they talk about leaves, engage in duty rather than. So it's about their diet. Okay, the question about the okapi behavior, rebutted theory, counter an assertion that okapi are rare, explain why okapis appeared to be rare, support the belief that okapis are rare. Seeming scarcity. Yeah, it's like explain why, support the belief, or counter the assertion that okapis are rare. explain why. Yeah, explain. I think this is the right answer. Yeah, all right. So next question. Based on the passage in its eating behavior, the okapi is most analogous to a child who eats one kind of food at a time, consuming all of it before going to the next kind. No, it's exactly the opposite. A professor who strictly follows the outline in the syllables. It's also like not the case. A student who delays working on homework until the last minute, and then rushes. No, not also the case. A newspaper reader who skips from story to story, just reading headlines and eye-catching paragraphs. Well, closer. A deer that ventures out of the woods only at dusk and dawn, remaining hidden during the rest of the day. Well, I think this one, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that's the right answer. Suppose the numerous okapis are discovered living in a remote forest region in northeastern Central Africa that the zoologist had not previously explored. Based on the current views, which one of the following would the zoologist be most likely to conclude about this discovery? Suppose that a remote forest region in northeastern Africa. Okay, okapis were pushed into this forest region by competition with mammals in neighboring forests. Okapis in the forest region forage the border between forest and savanna. Okapis in this forest region forage in the border between forest and savanna. Okapis in this forest region are not threatened by the usual predators of okapis. Okapis moved into this forest region because their preferred forage is more abundant than in other forests. Okapis live in the forest region when forest land area was scarce. Okapis lived in this forest region when forest land in this area was scarce. I guess it's about the last paragraph, so what's written here. It would seem hospitable to them. Those there that okapis are relicts of an era when forest land was scarce. Yeah. Yeah, I guess this E says exactly the same. I guess this is the right answer. So now, next question. The passage provides information intended to help explain each of the following, except why zoologists must believe that okapis were rare, why zoologists classify the okapis as a member of the giraffe family, why okapis choose to limit themselves to their interior of forests, why okapis engage in individual rather than congregated foraging, why okapis leave much preferred forage uneaten. So they explain this, why they were rare. Yeah, there's an explanation for their scarcity, explanation for, do they explain why they classify it as a giraffe family? Of course, zoologists first classified as a member of the family, but further studies show that despite the okapis coloration short necks, there were giraffes. Okapi. No, their skin color. Okay, it's explained. Choose to limit themselves to their interiors of forests. Why, for example, do they prefer to remain within forest areas when many of their one possibility is that a definite against again there's an explanation why engage individual rather than congregated foraging because of this and because of the okapis engage again there's an explanation why leave much preferred foliage uneaten. That's a diet, right? The third question. Yeah, there's no explanation for this. I guess this is the right answer. Okay. So now the last question. Based on the passage, the author would be most likely to agree with which one of the following statements. The number of okapis is many times larger than zoologists and had previously believed to be. Yeah, this exactly is said. Yeah, I guess to save time. No, it's not the right. All right, so let's finish and see how fast I've done it. 18 minutes. Well, I suppose it's like it took me twice as much as was necessary, like 9 minutes. It took me 18 minutes. I was 2 times slower than I had to be. But anyways, my goal here is not to be fast, but to be correct mostly. And see the last question, I didn't analyze it strongly, and as a result, I got an incorrect answer. And now I probably will go on and check it and see why it was wrong and try to figure out why I decided to choose this answer, even though it is wrong. And yeah, what I'm like doing here with this reading and answering these questions, of course, I can do it without, recording studying streams. But studying streams, I want to see each step when I make a decision, when I try to figure out how to answer the question. When I do it silently, I kind of use my intuition. Now I want to learn to verbalize every step which my thinking makes when I work on the task. So I don't want to use my intuition. I want to be able to explain every step, to see each step. And I see sometimes I can't even do that. So I see that I just read it briefly. There's some, some solution just comes natural to me, and I just, this seems to be correct. Like in the first question, I try to reflect on each of the three answers which remained after I read the five answers and crossed out those which I thought were incorrect. And this is like what I really need to do. This is what I want to do, to focus on my thinking and see all logical steps which I make when I have to arrive at the conclusion. I often see that when I think about something, I have certain ideas, I have an intuitive feeling that this is right, but then when I need to explain it, I see there are many gaps in my explanation. And now, like this exercise, it's very useful to fill these gaps. So when I have to talk, when I have to explain why I make this or that decision, I just verbalize my thinking process, and then I see how it works. And it's a little more or less just fascinating to do these exercises, being aware that I'm recording it. So I'm more sober when I do it without recording. It feels kind of, I allow myself to be careless sometimes, but now it feels more important. So it gives me an extra motivation for working on these passages, these tasks better. It's not just solving the task and skipping from one question to another. So it gives me again an extra motivation, an extra energy for doing the exercise, for being excellent. Yeah, this is now okay. I guess it's gonna take a long time to explain. I had another idea which I'd like to talk about, but I think it's unnecessary since it may just take 10-15 minutes, and I actually want to finish this right now. So that was it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.